of Genesis, we are introduced to a drunkard named Noah who is told by God that the world is going to end. More specifically, he is told that the world will flood for 40 days and 40 nights. So what does he do? Well, after likely a few shots to calm his nerves, he is told to build a boat. But not just any boat. An ark that can house 2 of every animal as to sustain a living world. Now, besides questions of carrying capacity, how to house lions with antelope, and the eventual quandaries of what could have only been human repopulation through incest, we are confronted with much more devastating questions. What will we do when the world ends? Or perhaps more dauntingly, how do we prepare? According to the Huffington Post on October 16, 2013, the country of Norway is already preparing. However, instead of housing 2 of every animal, which on a planet with 8.7 million different types of species is problematic, the government of Norway is storing seeds. For 5 years, the seed vault in Svalbard, Norway has stored upwards 770,000 different varieties of seeds and has the potential to house 2.25 billion. Interestingly, this seed vault is not the first of its kind, and our fascination, or perhaps fear of an apocalypse is not new. But when governments all around the world begin to act like President Morgan Freeman in Deep Impact in preparing for the end of mankind, we should begin paying attention. So today, we will take a look at how the idea of a seed vault came to be, before taking a look at the applications and finally the implications that the seed vault brings, thus allowing us to understand why BBC News on July 10, 2012 calls this seed vault Noah's Ark on Svalbard. The seed vault functions, well, like a vault. Huffington Post explains that the vault is a concrete building made with steel airlock doors and a guard system. The main storage is 120 meters inside of a sandstone mountain and 130 meters above sea level. The idea of a seed vault has been around for many years. In fact, China, Russia, Japan, India, South Korea, Germany, and Canada all lay claims to possess a vault of their own. This idea bloomed around the ever-present worry of a potentially apocalyptic scenario. In an interview for the American public media, Carrie Fowler has explained that any disastrous event could wipe out all plant life on the planet, necessitating a need for the seed vault. The seed vault in Svalbard is the plant meat that we all need in order to ensure the safety of seed diversity and abundance on our planet. This vault has been operational since February 2008. According to the Global Crop Diversity Trust on October 16, 2013, the construction site of the vault had a cost of about $9 million and was entirely funded by the Norwegian government. And the Sue magazine, which is a publication that provides in-depth analysis of successful corporate executives, explains on October 25, 2013, that the vault is managed by 3 entities: the Global Crop Diversity Trust, the Nordic Genetic Research Center, and the Norwegian government. An article released by the Global Research website October 17, 2012 further notes that the primary sources for funding for the trusts comes from private organizations such as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundations. Although the storage of seeds are free of charge, these private organizations have invested tens of thousands of dollars into the seed vault operations. Now the real question is, what exactly does the seed vault do that makes it so unique and so worthy of attention? Now that we understand why we need how the idea of a seed vault came to be, it's important that we analyze its applications. Carrie Fowler has mentioned that the seed vault's purpose is to help secure the maximum amount of different seed collections of agricultural crops around the world. However, there seems to be 2 applications to which the seed vault was built: pragmatic and potential. Initially, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, October 17, 2013, explains that the seed vault's purpose is to help secure the maximum amount of plant genetic diversity for long-term accordance with the latest scientific knowledge. In order to do this, however, they must first get their hands on the seeds. The Grain, October 17, 2012, explains that the seed vault only stores duplicated seeds. Farmers are required to offer their seeds for replication, removing any legal ownership from the farmers and granting them over to the owners of the vault, in this case the Norwegian government. The seeds, now under the legal ownership of the government, undergoes genetic modification and hybridization to produce the most survivable organic products. In other words, not only is the seed vault for storage of seeds, it is also to ensure the safety of seed diversity and sustainability. Of course, if the only purpose of the seed vault was to store seeds for scientific research, Norway would not have built such a massive vault embedded on the side of an Arctic mountain. The discovery on January 7, 2013 jokingly states that the next cosmic doomsday prediction is always right around the corner. For example, sometime during this year, a comet will skim right above the sun's surface before breaking apart and slamming into the earth, causing an increase in volcanic eruptions and triggering earthquakes. Another asteroid named Apophis with the power of 100,000 Hiroshima-sized atomic bombs will hit the Earth in 2056. We will soon experience Jupiter's effects once again, where Jupiter plays tug-of-war with the Sun, causing an increase in sunspot activity and triggering even more earthquakes. We have heard ample amounts of doomsday stories, and it is for each and every one of these stories that Joe Hartley, a home educator from the Natural News October 17, 2013, states that we must be prepared. The seeds frozen in the mountains of Svalbard may help our crops adapt to changing climatic conditions and may be an important key in global food security. Now, this may all seem like fire and brimstone preaching, or in this case, asteroid and volcano preaching, and this sort of discussion is often met with skepticism. However, there seems to be enough legitimate concern that for these countries, a seed vault seems increasingly necessary. Now that we understand why we need the seed vault, we can begin to realize how it will affect us. Two implications seem most salient. Initially, the seed vault represents a severe shift in our understanding of political control. An article released by the Public Library of Sciences, May 2011, indicates that those who control the seeds control much of the genetic diversity post-apocalypse. This is, of course, highly theoretical. However, it presents a serious question as to how we approach plant diversity. Moreover, the seeds that are stored inside of the vault were obtained by eminent domain, which is a governmental rationale that is generally reserved for the seizure of land. In other words, the country of Norway feels so strongly about the impending apocalypse that they are implicating governmental powers to furnish a government-owned and operated vault. Thus, were an apocalyptic scenario to occur, those who control the seeds control the people. Finally, the seed vault represents a severe shift in public discourse, specifically our approach to a potential apocalypse. Colin Dickey of AI Magazine, September 2013, suggests that the seed vault is trying to communicate something about the human race, that we are genuinely concerned that there are factors in the near future that will spell doom upon the human population. Recently, concern over the climate changes has motivated many to reevaluate their impacts on the world, and recent stories of global pandemics and the recent meteor streaking over Russia has only stoked the fire. But even if we see these ideas as ones that are grounded in fiction and fear-mongering, the building of this seed vault, as well as numerous others, suggests that there is apparently legitimate concern. The question no longer seems to be if, but when. So today, we have identified and covered a brief history of how the seed vault came to be, before taking a look at the applications and finally the implications that the seed vault brings. Like Noah, we are all preparing for the inevitable, that the world is going to end. Whether or not we survive will not be dependent on building a boat, but whether or not we can keep a couple of plants alive.